y'all. I just wanted to say I'm so thankful for growth. I've been learning so much about making connections and not forming attachments. And when I first heard people saying that, I got the wrong idea because I thought they were being cold. I was like, what do you mean don't form attachments? Like you just don't care about nobody? But it's actually the opposite. So now I understand that it means that you care, but you have more of a healthy relationship with people and things around you. So when you form attachments, you don't allow yourself to let things go when it's time. And you can really stunt your growth by having unhealthy attachments. Like, how many times do people stay in relationships for too long? And that can be not even just with people, but it can be with like a job or with money or with these different things. And when you just allow it to flow and you don't form these unhealthy attachments, you won't have to go through as much of a grieving process when that chapter is over. And then, man, I'm so proud of myself because recently, and it hasn't happened a lot, but over the years, there have been some people who have decided to take it upon themselves to maybe walk out of my life or unfriend me or things like that without a warning. And in the past, my past self, if it was me about 5 years ago, I'd have been like, what did I do? Did I say something wrong? Did I offend them? But now I'm just kind of like, okay, like I accept it. Like, I'm grateful for the connections and I don't view them as a bad person. Like, I still love that person or people, whoever. I still love them deeply. But it's just cool to be in a different headspace and not to be so negatively impacted by it, because I just trust the universe and I trust the process and the journey that I'm going through. And I'm not coming at things with a scarcity mindset thinking that a thing or a type of relationship is like an end-all be-all. I know that I'm always catered to, I'm always protected, and therefore I know that there are always going to be better things coming along, and that everything or every chapter is necessary. And most things, actually not most, I think all things, that seems to be a universal law, that everything has an expiration. So either something will end or it'll just change forms like a circle. So yeah, man, I don't know. It's just cool. So I guess to sum that all up, form connections, be present in those connections, and don't make unhealthy attachments. So one of my awesome best friends told me this really wise thing, and if you're watching, you probably don't realize I still remember that you said this because it was so true. And she said, when you read a book, the characters in the book aren't worried about the book ending. And then she was like, read the book. And that's how life is. And I actually took what she said and I've used it at work when I've had to terminate from clients in the past. And when they were feeling some kind of heavy emotions, I just said, hey, life has books and different chapters. Like, just because this chapter is over doesn't mean that it's like an end-all be-all, if that makes any sense. Like, this chapter is done, we enjoyed the book, and now it's forming into something else. And it kind of reminds me of the seasons in the plants. In spring they bloom, and then in wintertime there's no leaves on the trees, or you don't necessarily see the plant, but the root is still there. The root is still there. So I encourage you all to find that root. Like, for a lot of people it might be God, it might be religion. Like, what's that thing that is consistent and that's always steady and always stable? And just trust that you'll always have that root even if a chapter ends. And just trust that something better is coming and that you'll be taken care of. And I think that also requires some security in yourself, especially when you're dealing with people, and to not not internalize people's actions and to take it personally. So I just want to put a blessing over y'all and say, may you be secure in yourself, and may you form connections and not attachments, and to trust God or the universe or your ancestors or guides or whoever to provide for you, and trust that you'll be taken care of and you don't have to form attachments. May you form connections, not attachments. May you be secure in yourself and allow things to flow the way that they're supposed to. Amen. We release what no longer serves us so that we can make room for what does. And then, so I pulled these for me, but I'm sharing it because I think it will help a lot of people. And I read a deck of playing cards. So first we have the 8 of Hearts, and then we have the 3 of Diamonds and the 9 of Hearts. So the 8 of Hearts is representing the 8 of Cups, and we are leaving behind the illusion of abundance, aka insecure attachments, things that don't serve you and that you think are just an end-all be-all. I feel that some of you are being called to walk away from something. It could be a relationship, a person, or a place, a job. It's given you, you're comfortable, but it's not serving your purpose. It's an insecure attachment. And then next we have the 3 of Diamonds, or the 3 of Swords, represented by the 3 of Diamonds. And so the tarot card for the 3 of Swords, it has 3 swords and a big heart. So it is releasing those illusions from the 8 of Cups and allowing yourself to go through that grieving process of what you thought was fulfillment but turned out not to be. So if you allow yourself to go through this and go through this grieving process, it'll lead you to the 9 of Cups. And you can look up what these tarot cards look like as well. But as you grow and as we remember to make connections and not form attachments, these swords ain't gonna be stabbing as hard. You feel me? And then next you have the the 9 of Cups. So you have what you want. You went through this process, but so I read that card a little bit different than a lot of people, because in that tarot card you have somebody who has cups behind them, and the first time I ever saw it, to me that person looked like a hoarder. So so even when you get from here to here, you got to be careful not to fall back into this. Like when you get those things from releasing those things before, don't start that cycle all over again of making insecure attachments and focusing on the wrong shit. You feel me? So you got to resist that temptation to get greedy and to get into a scarcity mindset, to make insecure attachments to these new things and to fall into materialism. So I'm going to say the affirmation again. We got, I release what no longer serves me and make room for what does. We form connections, not attachments, and that includes with people, with things, with places, with anything. All right, I love y'all. So for some of you, what's not serving you is mindsets. I forgot to mention that. This is not scripted at all. So when I think of something, I'm just going to hop back on here. But mindsets, man. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. That one feels heavy. Yes. Oh my goodness. I feel like I just felt so many things from so many different directions. So apparently I needed to come back on here and say that. Man, y'all. Whew. Mindsets. Like the way that you are thinking about yourself, about others, about certain things, just your thought patterns are not serving you anymore. And until you release that and train yourself to replace them, you're going to be stuck like Chuck. And I just encourage you to refuse to be one of those people who's just going to be fucking stuck for 10 years, because that is not fun. And there's so many people who do that because they just get in these negative thought patterns or in these certain thought patterns, or it could even be a certain victim mentality, and it's just not serving you because you're disempowering yourself every day from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. So just replacing that. And I would try to set aside some time to where you're just countering all that, and just as soon as you wake up, practicing gratitude. Like I say this often, just naming what you're thankful for and saying nice things to yourself. I made myself a whole set of cards. Like, you saw this little makeshift thing. I release what no longer serves me and make room for what does. Your mindset does not serve you, honey. You gotta let that go. Let that shit go. Shake it off and make room for what does. So at the end of the yoga video I just did, she said, may we stay curious, open, loving, and non-judgmental. Ashe.